Have you ever stood in front of the mirror and wondered if others still see the glow in you that once turned heads so effortlessly? Maybe it was at the grocery store when someone smiled warmly, or at a family gathering when a younger woman complimented your earrings. Yet, there's still that little voice that questions, do I still have that spark? The truth is, beauty doesn't fade with age. It evolves, it deepens, it radiates from a place far more powerful than youth alone could ever offer. In fact, you may be carrying a quiet kind of beauty that turns heads in ways you don't even realize. You might not fit today's filtered definition of attractive, but your presence, your warmth, your wisdom, they speak louder than any wrinkle cream or trendy hairstyle ever could. Today, let's uncover those subtle yet undeniable signs that you are, indeed, a beautiful older woman, even if you haven't noticed it yourself. Now imagine this. You're walking into a room. You aren't trying to grab attention. You're simply being you, but somehow, people look up. Some smile. Others shift to make space for you, and you're not sure why. It's not because you're wearing flashy colors or bold makeup. It's because of something deeper, the way you carry yourself. That's the first quiet clue. One of the most telling signs of timeless beauty is when people feel drawn to your presence. Not in an attention-seeking way, but in the way they instinctively respond when you enter a room. Perhaps a stranger starts a conversation at the doctor's office, or a neighbor lingers a little longer to chat with you by the gate. These aren't coincidences. When people consistently react to you with warmth, interest, or even curiosity, that's your beauty doing the talking, softly, subtly, and powerfully. Think about a woman like Helen, 76 years old, a retired piano teacher who lives alone in a quiet neighborhood. She doesn't dress up often, but when she does step out, she always tucks her scarf just so, applies a touch of blush, and walks with her shoulders back. Helen's not trying to impress anyone, and yet people remember her. The barista remembers her order, her pharmacist greets her with extra cheer. Even children in her neighborhood wave when they see her walk by. Why? Because beauty isn't always loud. Sometimes, it's simply the aura of someone who is unapologetically at peace with who they are. It's in the way you sit with a straight spine and a soft smile. The way your hands, lined with years of love and labor, still move with grace. It's in the sparkle in your eyes when you share a story, or the kindness in your voice when you ask someone how they're doing. These things can't be bottled, they can't be photoshopped, but they are felt and remembered. Another gentle clue? Younger women look up to you, not just for advice, but for inspiration. They might say things like, I hope I age as beautifully as you, or ask where you found that elegant brooch, or how you managed to look so put together on an ordinary Tuesday. You might dismiss these comments, thinking they're just being polite. But more often than not, they're sincere. You see, younger generations are often searching for models of aging that don't involve constant surgery or denial. They're craving authenticity. They're inspired by women who have learned to honor their age rather than hide it. If they see that in you, that's a sure sign you're radiating a beauty they respect, even envy a little. A woman named Marjorie once shared her story at a local senior center. She was 79, wore bold glasses, had snow-white hair pulled into a neat bun, and favored jewel-toned blouses. Nothing trendy, just timeless. After her talk, several young women approached her, not to ask about her career or her topic, but about how she carried herself with such grace. One even said, "You just glow." Marjorie laughed, assuming they were joking. But they weren't. What they saw was a woman who had made peace with her years, and it showed. And let's not forget your sense of style. Not the one that tries to keep up with every season's trends, but the one that knows what suits you, what colors lift your spirit, what fabrics make you feel comfortable and confident. Whether you favor flowy linen dresses, classic pearls, or bold patterned scarves, the way you choose to present yourself tells a story. And when others admire it, it's not just about the outfit, it's about your essence shining through. Many women believe that beauty is in the smoothness of their skin or the tightness of their figure. But real beauty, especially after 60, is in the choices you make. choosing to take care of yourself, choosing to show up for life, even when it's hard, choosing to love your body, even if it's changed. When those choices become habits, they leave traces, visible in your glow, audible in your laughter, felt in your presence. You may not always notice it in the mirror. In fact, sometimes we're our own worst critics. But those around you, they see it, they feel it. The neighbor who waves every morning, the cashier who lights up when you walk in, the friend who seeks your advice on everything from parenting to life purpose. These people aren't reacting to makeup or fashion. They're responding to you. So, if you've ever questioned whether you're still attractive, let this be your gentle reminder. Your beauty has not disappeared. It has simply grown deeper, stronger, and more magnetic in ways that can't be measured by age or appearance. There's something remarkable about the way you carry wisdom, not as a burden, but as a quiet light that guides others without them even realizing it. You don't have to speak the loudest to be heard. In fact, one of the strongest signs that you're a truly beautiful older woman is your ability to listen with your whole heart. In a world where everyone seems eager to talk, your willingness to listen makes you stand out. And not just listen to respond, but to understand, to comfort, to offer your presence fully. When someone talks to you, they feel heard, seen, and valued. That's not just a personality trait. That's a deep inner beauty that very few people cultivate, and it only becomes more radiant with time. Take a moment and think back. How many times have friends or family members come to you not for answers, but just to sit with you? Maybe they come with heavy hearts, or they just need to talk through their thoughts. Maybe your granddaughter called crying about something that happened at school, and you didn't rush to fix it, you just listened. That moment alone, that calm and steady way you hold space, is the essence of grace. And grace, dear friend, is one of the most beautiful things a woman can carry. This type of beauty doesn't show up in photos. It's not something a camera can capture. It's something people feel in their bones when they're around you. It's what makes others feel safe, understood, and unjudged. You may not even notice you're doing it, but your ability to hold stillness in a chaotic world, that's rare. That's beauty. Another sign that often goes unnoticed is the way you handle hardship. Life has tested you. You've lost people you loved, faced health scares, endured changes you didn't expect. But you're still standing, still smiling. Maybe not every day, but enough to show the world that you haven't given up on life. And you never will. That resilience, that refusal to collapse under pressure, it's beautiful, and it's powerful, because younger women are watching. Whether you know it or not, someone is observing how you carry your pain, how you rise from your disappointments, and when they see you keep going with dignity, they're inspired. That's the kind of beauty that transcends generations. There's a woman named Teresa I met once at a community book club. She had just turned 80 and walked with a cane. Her husband had passed a few years earlier, and she was navigating life alone for the first time in decades. But when she spoke, her voice had a calm strength to it. No bitterness, no drama, just honesty, humor, and insight. I've cried more in the last 3 years than I did in my first 77, she told me with a soft laugh. But I still have more laughter left. That's the kind of beauty that makes you unforgettable. There's also something to be said about the way you nurture others, especially when you do it with no expectation in return. Whether it's a neighbor you bring soup to when they're sick, or a note you write to someone you haven't spoken to in a while, your caring nature shines through in small, everyday ways. You don't always call it out or draw attention to it, but those gestures ripple out farther than you know. Your nurturing spirit might show up in the way you take care of your garden, how you keep a tidy home where everyone feels welcome, or even how you remember small details about people's lives, like their favorite cake or the date of their surgery. These aren't just acts of kindness. They are reflections of a beautiful soul. And the people around you feel it. And let's not forget humor. Yes, humor. That twinkle in your eye when you tell a funny story from 40 years ago. That witty remark you slide into a conversation that catches everyone off guard and sends the room into laughter. Or even the way you laugh at yourself when something goes wrong. A dish burns, a plant dies, or your phone autocorrects something ridiculous. That ability to laugh, not just at the world, but with it, is magnetic. It says, "I know life isn't perfect, but I choose joy anyway." And joy, my friend, is one of the most beautiful qualities anyone can have, especially when it's shared freely. We often overlook this, but humor becomes even more important as we age. It keeps us light on our feet emotionally. It keeps the spirit young. And when others see that in you, they're not just entertained, they're lifted. There's a woman I once saw dancing in the rain outside her front porch. She was in her 70s. Her neighbors were watching from their windows, smiling. When someone asked why she did it, she said, "Because I've cried enough in my life. Now I dance when it rains." That moment, it wasn't just about whimsy. It was about resilience, about choosing to live fully. And that kind of joyful spirit is absolutely beautiful. So if you've ever caught someone smiling at you for no apparent reason, or if you've been told, "I just love being around you," take that to heart. That's not politeness. That's people responding to the kind of beauty that can't be painted on or dressed up. It's in your energy, your essence, and how you make others feel. As we continue exploring the quiet but powerful signs that show your beauty, remember this: most beautiful women don't even know they are. They don't seek the spotlight, but somehow, they're the ones everyone remembers. Not because of what they wore or how they looked in photos, but because of how they made people feel. There's a kind of beauty that doesn't require a mirror to be seen. It's the kind that shines from your presence, the way people feel when you enter a room. Maybe you've never thought of yourself as beautiful because you weren't told that enough growing up. Or maybe society made you believe beauty has an expiration date. But let me tell you something honestly, that idea couldn't be more wrong. One of the most powerful and least talked about signs of beauty in older women is the ability to be completely at peace with who you are. You've come through storms, you've had your heart broken and healed it again. You've taken risks, some of which paid off and others that didn't. And through it all, you've found a rhythm to your life that no longer demands perfection, but simply presence. When a woman reaches a stage where she no longer needs to prove herself to anyone, where she doesn't chase validation or compare herself to others, that's magnetic. That's real beauty. There's a calm strength that surrounds a woman who knows what matters to her and no longer compromises her peace for things that used to shake her. You know what you enjoy. You've figured out what makes your mornings feel grounded and your evenings feel peaceful. Whether it's your morning tea, your favorite book before bed, or your walks under the trees, those little rituals aren't just habits. They're a reflection of a woman who's chosen herself. That self-awareness, that unapologetic comfort in your own skin, is something younger generations are striving toward, and you're already living it. But there's one more sign of beauty that often goes unnoticed, and that's your ability to inspire others without even realizing it. You may not be on a stage giving speeches. You might not be posting daily quotes online or running a business. But people watch you. They see how you treat others. They notice how you talk about life, how you navigate aging, how you face each day with a quiet courage. And even though you may feel like you're just doing your best to get through the day, someone else sees you as a role model. There's a young mother somewhere watching how you talk to your grown kids with patience and compassion, and she's learning. There's a neighbor who notices how you tend your flowers each morning and finds calm in the routine. There's a nurse or caretaker who walks into your home expecting to give care, but walks away with a little more hope than they had before because of you. Inspiration doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes it arrives in the form of a steady presence, and that's what you offer to the world. You may think your stories are ordinary, but to someone else, they're a lifeline. That moment when you share something vulnerable, how you made it through a lonely winter, or how you found joy again after grief, that's when you shine brightest. Because you're showing others that it's possible, that aging isn't something to dread, but something to grow into. So let's take a breath and reflect. If you've ever made someone feel safe, you are beautiful. If you've ever laughed from your belly and let others join in, you are beautiful. If you've ever walked into a room and made someone's day brighter just by being you, you are beautiful. And if you've ever been through something tough, something that nearly broke you, but you kept going with grace, oh, you are radiant. Too often, society tells us beauty fades, but the truth is, real beauty deepens with time. Wrinkles are not flaws, they are maps of a life fully lived. Gray hair is not something to hide, it's a crown earned with every chapter of your story. And the softness that comes with age, that gentle tone in your voice, the knowing in your eyes, is something no youth can replicate. So here's what I want you to remember today. You don't have to change a single thing to be beautiful. You don't have to try harder. You don't need more makeup or different clothes or a newer routine. You are already enough, right now, as you are. You've lived through so much and still choose kindness. That is beautiful. You've stayed curious about life when it would have been easier to close your heart. That is beautiful. You've embraced the years, not as a curse, but as a privilege. That is beautiful. And most of all, you've stayed true to who you are, even as the world tries to define you by numbers or appearances. That, more than anything, makes you one of a kind. So if you ever doubt your worth, come back to this moment. Reread these words. Reclaim your power. Because beauty isn't just something you once had, it's something you continue to grow into every single day. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these signs resonated most with you? Maybe you recognized yourself in more than one. Or maybe this made you realize something you never gave yourself credit for. Drop a comment below. I read them all, and your story might be the encouragement someone else needs. And if this message made you feel even a little more seen, would you do me a small favor? Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone else who needs to be reminded of their beauty. Here's to you, the woman who didn't even know how beautiful she truly is. May you carry that truth with you today and always. You are extraordinary, just as you are. And the world is a better place because of it.